Hi everyone, my name is Adi.
And my name is Hugh.
We are from Belia di Bawah Bayu, a group dedicated to empowering Sabahan youths, and today will be our first podcast. To give a quick announcement on what this group is about and our plans for the future, as a group, we hope to represent the views and opinions of our team members the best way that we can.
Yes, that is true. Other than that, we are currently planning for a lineup of events, and currently we are already kicking off some of them. These include our social media infographics and crowdfunding campaigns.
Today's podcast will be a test run of sorts as we experiment different ways to reach out to you all in the most efficient way possible, so any feedback is very much appreciated as we try to better our capacities in delivering engaging content.
Exactly. It's important that we disseminate our information through a means such as this while gaining valuable feedback from all of you listeners.
So without further ado, just sit back and relax as we just want to give you a few announcements for you to tune into on a lazy Sunday afternoon. In this episode, we will be introducing ourselves, who we are, what our objectives are. So to get started, how did this group come about? Mostly a lot of our members were actually participants of Parliament Digital, which was hosted and organized by Undi 18 and other youth groups within Malaysia. So we decided that after the aftermath, we decided that why not we decide to make something for Sabah, within Sabahans, for Sabahans, organization that we can rally around for youths in Sabah to come together.
So you might be asking, who are its members? Now, Belia di Bawah Bayu, basically from the name that we have now called Belia di Bawah Bayu, that we are a group of Sabahans who are passionate about making positive change in the Sabahan society. So Sabah is known as the land below the wind. That's directly translated into Negeri di Bawah Bayu. So that's why we decided to call ourselves Belia di Bawah Bayu. So we are basically a group of youths who are very passionate about bringing positive change to Sabah. So our group here comprises a diverse range of people who come from regions like Tawau, from Kota Kinabalu, Sandakan, and even Semporna.
So yeah, we have a huge diverse group of people participating in this group, and it's mostly made up of professionals from different backgrounds, students, even teachers, and mostly around Sabah itself, and also members who are also outside of Sabah, like in Kuala Lumpur, with some people even outside of Malaysia itself. And the best part is the wide variety of political spectrums that we come from. All of us come from different parts of the political divide, but at the same time, we chose to use this diversity to our strengths. So we believe that it doesn't matter which ideology you come from or which political background you come from, as long as we are committed to making a positive change. That's what really matters. So that's really who we are.
Yeah, that's who we are. Because we don't want to come across as being a partisan movement where we only strive to bring across a certain agenda for our own political gain. So this campaign here will be for the benefit of anyone in Sabah alone. So just because you have a certain ideology doesn't mean that you will be directly impacted by what we're going to do. So we're trying our best to keep ourselves away from any political agendas.
Okay, so what is Belia di Bawah Bayu about? Firstly, like Hugh mentioned, we are interested in the development of Sabah and its people, trying to bring positive change to the state and help awaken certain sensibilities within Sabah to make sure that we can become the best that we can and realize the potential of what Sabahans hold.
Yeah, so we're the recipients of the Wisely Bootcamp Grant 2020. We basically started this campaign from being participants of the Civic Engagement Bootcamp that was hosted by Wisely. Wisely is an organization that is directly under the US Embassy KL. So this US Embassy KL is very passionate about the empowerment of youth, especially with regards to civic engagement. So we believe that our campaign is directly linked to civic engagement because we ourselves are just starting as a grassroots movement. So we believe that anyone in society, regardless of who you are, can make positive change. Whether you think you have the knowledge, you have the power, or you have the technical capabilities to do so, so long as you have the willingness to do it. So in our grant, we were allocated as much as 6,000 ringgit to carry out our activities, and this funding, such as operation costs, materials, campaign t-shirts, yeah, and all sorts of things like that.
All right. So the main rationale behind this whole campaign is if you live in Sabah, you would understand that statelessness has become a very controversial issue in recent years, especially when you take it to the political side, that it will be used as a political tool, which I believe to be the case. But yeah, it doesn't change the fact that this is a reality that we are placed upon in Sabah, that there are stateless children out there being idle, there are cracks in the system, and unable to receive education. And we believe that education is emancipation of the self, so that they're able to realize their potential, harness their potential, become the best that they can be. So we feel that it is quite an injustice for it to be denied to these children, regardless of their disposition or their origins. And for those that are not from Sabah, if you come to Sabah, you will notice that there are a lot of children on the streets who are begging for money, for scraps of food. And it's quite a sad predicament, because these kids should be in school learning what it's like to be a child. And these years are being wasted on begging for scraps and etc. etc. So we want to try and affect change in this way by raising awareness to this issue. Of course, a lot of people in Sabah know that this is a main issue, but when it comes to actual change, we believe that the narrative has to be more emphasized, especially when it comes to policymaking. So we hope to affect change on the ground in the hopes that we can generate enough civic engagement so policymakers can take notice and strive for better in order to resolve these issues. This is going to be our main focus of our campaign for the next 3 months, and we will be continuously updating you through podcasts every fortnight, just to keep you all in the loop of what's going on with this campaign or what progress we have made.
Yeah, so these children were basically born here in the state of Sabah, yet the problem is that they were never given the proper documents to begin with, due to the current immigration laws and policies. Like what I've seen on the news recently, that there are approximately 50,000 of these stateless children in Sabah alone. So and especially because and it's especially worse because these are only approximated figures. So we don't know how many more of these children are roaming around in Sabah. But the problem here is that they are undeniably a part of society that form an important part of our Sabahan landscape. By the time that they actually receive the proper documentation, they would have missed a large portion of their education journey. It takes as long as 10 years for their documents to be approved. And if they continue to have this low level of knowledge, then in the future, they'll be having poor communication skills, which will lead to lots of varying problems, such as an inability to find proper jobs, and also lots of misunderstanding between these children and the locals there. In the end, they might even resort to violence and crime just because they can't feed their own stomachs, don't have the jobs to begin with. So we're seeing that there's this virtuous cycle where they will continue on to become to be in a state of poverty if there's nothing to lead them out of this predicament. So education is one of the things that we've identified is the main root cause of this everlasting problem that is that these undocumented people are facing.
So throughout the next 3 months, up until the end of January, we will be posting weekly infographics regarding stateless children and the need for education. So recently we posted an infographic on how other countries have handled issues of statelessness in terms of education. So we will be producing content like that every week, and just to help build awareness of the possible solutions that are available to us, the reality on the ground. Although with that, we do plan to host webinars in the near future to invite people who have experienced on the ground realities with these stateless children, what are the challenges they are facing on the ground, what is needed to be done, and their opinions on the matter.
So we are also right now we are also actively working with other organizations such as the Buddhist Suci and also the United Nations Association of Malaysia to host various different campaigns and activities. And the most notable one that we're aiming for is to host a never before done Model United Nations hosted virtually that is focused on Sabahans alone. So this Model United Nations event will be regarding providing education for stateless children. What we'll be doing is that we'll be gathering any interested participants who are willing to participate in this conversation to come together and join a Model United Nations event that will be hosted online, namely on a platform called Discord, and also together with Google Meets, so that they can experience what a Model United Nations is like. So this is a really great opportunity for all Sabahans to participate, because a lot of Model United Nations have been hosted in West Malaysia alone, and a lot of East Malaysians have been left out of these type of events. And we believe that through these Model United Nations events, we can distill the policy recommendations from the grassroots, rather than having people from the top down, rather than having people dictate what is appropriate for the grassroots and the people down here. So we want something like a bottom-up approach rather than a top-down approach. So in the future, we'll also be having fundraising campaigns together with the organization that I've mentioned called the Buddhist Tuji, and we've actually already reached out to them when it comes to the specific needs of these children. So what we're going to do is that, since this organization has already started to build various learning institutions for these stateless children, what we think we can do is that we're going to host some crowdfunding campaigns to aid in supplying the essentials, the bare essentials that these school children may need when it comes to their education. So for our crowdfunding campaign, right, what we're going to do is that we're going to collect money in order to buy textbooks for these children. So for our first ever crowdfunding campaign, what we're trying to do is to start small. So what I mean by starting small is to raise money to buy textbooks for these stateless children. It's because that from what I've seen myself, a large portion of these children even struggle to properly pay for the tuition fees of their alternative schools. From my observations, even 3 ringgit is a difficulty for a lot of these children. So we believe that small steps can lead to greater changes, but we still need to start small, because we know that we cannot just step inside expecting to help the whole of these stateless children. So for our fundraising campaign, right, how you can directly help us is that please follow Belia di Bawah Bayu on our Instagram. What you can do is that where you'll see frequent updates on our fundraising campaigns and also the needs of these children. So in our post, right, we will be basically posting about what these children may need. So in example, it could be these children might need 100, this certain institution might need 100 textbooks for the learning of these children. And then you can donate to Belia di Bawah Bayu, and then we'll be channeling our funds to these learning institution who may need the money to buy the things that they need. So how we are going to do this on our side is that we'll be frequently going to contact these NGOs, these learning institutions, or even certain individuals who may need this financial assistance, and then we'll try to see the specific needs of them, and then we'll tailor our crowdfunding campaign towards these specific needs. It could be like what I've mentioned, 100 textbooks for this learning institution, or even a financial aid package for one specific child. It can be a lot of different things. So please keep updated by following our Instagram page, Belia di Bawah Bayu, and also on our Facebook page.